I'm a Korean man, a father, a fake AI. I record this from a small studio in Gwangju. And tonight I want to tell you something that took me years to understand about my own country. Most foreign women think Korea is hard because of the language, or the food, or the work hours. They're wrong. What you're walking into is not a culture. It is a contract, a silent one. 4 of them actually. And you signed every one of them the moment you stepped off the plane. You just did not get a copy. By the end of this video, I'm going to show you all 4. And one of them, the cruelest one, you signed without ever leaving home. Let's start with the first page you could not read. You walked into a Korean cafe last week, or last year, or in a drama you watched twice. Everyone smiled at you. The barista bowed a little. 2 older Korean women turned to look and then looked away. A young woman in heels glanced at your shoes. Nobody said a word. You felt seen. You felt welcomed. You felt slightly off, but you could not name why. Here is what I saw. I saw 5 people running their internal calculator. Foreigner, Western, older than the young Korean woman in this cafe. Probably here for a few weeks. No rank. File closed. That smile you got was not warmth. It was efficiency. And the words I just gave you, no rank, file closed. Those are the actual words Korean people use to each other when no foreigner is at the table. I have heard them my whole life. I have said them. Korean society does not waste warmth on people without rank. And you, my friend, walked in with no rank. You think this is rude. It is not. It is the first rule. And it is in a contract you cannot read. The rank contract. Korea has been hierarchical for 500 years. That is 25 generations. 25 generations of fathers teaching sons that the first thing you do when you meet a stranger is figure out who is above you and who is below. Age, job, school, family name, where you were born, what your father does. A Korean greeting is not a greeting, it is a calculation. When I was 6 years old, my father taught me how to sit at a table with my uncles. Not where to sit, how to sit. Hands on knees, eyes lower than the eldest. Pour his drink first. Wait until he drinks before you do. I was 6. I was already calculating. This is what Confucian society did to us. The scholar gentry class ran Korea for 500 years through the Joseon dynasty. They were not warriors. They were ranking machines. They wrote books about who bows to whom. They invented funeral rituals based on rank. The whole country became one long hallway where everyone knew their position before they walked in. That hallway did not disappear. It just got new clothes. Today it lives in your boyfriend's office, in his family's dinner table, in the way he answers his phone when his boss calls at 11 p.m. You walked into that hallway with no position. You think that means you are free. It means you are invisible. That is contract number 1, the rank contract. But that is just the visible rule. The real contract, the one Korean men never say out loud, is something I'm going to show you next. Stay with me. 4. The performance contract. You met a Korean man at a bar in Itaewon, or on a tour in Seoul, or in a YouTube comment section that turned into messages. He was charming. He was attentive. He listened. You thought, finally, a man who knows how to be present. Here's what was happening on his side. He was running a script. He had practiced this script in his head 100 times. Every line he said had a counterline he was waiting for. When you broke the script, when you said something honest and unrehearsed, his face froze for half a second. You probably did not notice. But that half second is the most important thing about the whole night. That is contract number 2. Every interaction in Korea has a script. You did not get a copy of yours. You think you are being yourself. He thinks you are playing your role badly. Here is the thing that broke me when I started watching Foreign Woman in Seoul. I was sitting in a wine bar in Hongdae 2 years ago. A Korean man in his 30s was on a date with a Canadian woman. She was warm. She laughed loudly. She touched his arm when she made a joke. He laughed back, but his eyes kept scanning the room. Not for other women, for witnesses. He was checking who was watching him fail to follow the script. Two of his coworkers walked in. He froze. He took his hand off the table. He moved his chair half a foot back from her. She did not see it, but she felt it. She got quieter. The light went out of the date. He did not even know what he had just done. That is the performance contract. He is not on a date with you. He is on a stage, and every Korean adult in the room is a critic. Korea performs more plastic surgery per capita than any other country on earth. 1 in 3 Korean women in their 20s has had work done. That is the same as 1 in 3 women you saw at the grocery store this morning. Except in Korea, every one of them is on the same stage at the same time. That is not vanity. That is rehearsal. Now, I have to tell you about the cruel one. Not the cruelest yet. The face contract. I'll get to that. But this one will explain a lot of small wounds you carried home from Korea and could not name. In Korea, you do not have a face for yourself. You have a face for your group, your family, your office, your friends from middle school who will still be your friends when you are 80. When you say something direct to a Korean man, something honest, something a woman in Berlin or Brooklyn or Brisbane would say without thinking, he does not hear honesty. He hears a small humiliation he has to absorb. And he does not have a system for that. You said, last week, in a restaurant, the food is too salty. That is all you said. He apologized to the waitress 11 times. He asked her if there was something wrong with the kitchen. He paid extra. He went silent on the walk home. You thought he was just being polite. He was not. He was carrying a small dead body. The body was his face. You killed it without knowing. That is contract number 3. You were given a knife the day you arrived. Nobody told you the knife was always on. I love Korea. I want to be careful here. This is my home, but I have to tell you the next part because if I do not tell you, the comments on this video will be filled with Korean men explaining away the thing I'm about to say. Korean men, including me, were trained to feel small humiliations as catastrophes. Because in a 500-year hierarchical society, losing face is not embarrassment. It is a fall in rank. And a fall in rank means your ancestors fail. Your children fail. Your line fails. That is what is sitting under your boyfriend's silence after you complained about the soup. And there is one contract about all of this that is coming for you too. Even if you never visit Korea again, I'll get to that in just a moment. First, I have to show you the 4th one, the Cruelest Contract. You think your Korean relationship is moving slowly because he is careful, because he is shy, because he is taking his time to make sure. That is what you tell your friends. That is what you tell yourself at 11 p.m. when he sends you a one-word reply. He is not taking his time. He is measuring you. In Korea, dating is not the beginning of a relationship. It is an audition. The audition has stages. Stage 1, will my friends accept her? Stage 2, will my mother accept her? Stage 3, can she handle the rank, the script, the face contract, all of it, without needing to be taught? Stage 4, can she do it for 40 more years? If you fail any stage, the audition ends. He will not tell you it ended. He will just go quiet. He will use distance like a security guard uses a flashlight. Just enough light to make you keep your distance. Never enough to show you the room. That is contract number 4. The patience contract. You think you are in love. He is in a job interview. 4 contracts. None of them in writing. All of them binding. Now think about Korean women for a second, because I want to be honest about who is paying for this system. The 27-year-old Korean woman sitting next to you in that wine bar is being ranked harder than you. Her audition started when she was 18. Her face contract is bigger than yours. She has a dossier of every word she said in middle school that her future mother-in-law might one day Google. She is not your enemy. She's also drowning. She just learned how to swim with the rocks tied to her ankles. You walked in with no rocks. That is why she watched your shoes. Now here is the part nobody talks about. The contract that is coming for you, whether you ever land at Incheon airport or not. Your country is building the same thing. Slower, quieter, with better marketing. Look at how dating works in your city. Apps that rank you. Photos that get scored. Bios that are auditions. The way your friends talk about a new partner. What does he do? What does she earn? What school did he go to? What does her family think? You did not call it a rank contract. You called it standards. You did not call it a performance contract. You called it presenting yourself. You did not call it a face contract. You called it not being too much. Korea just got there first. 500 years ago. Your country is on year 20. The infrastructure is being built around you while you watch. That is why this matters, even if you never date a Korean man. Because the rules you walked into in Seoul are the rules walking into your living room right now. I love Korea. I will say it again. This is my home. But I want my boys to grow up in a Korea where the contracts are at least readable. And I want you to walk into your next relationship in your country with your eyes open to what the contract actually says. What to do with this? Here is what I want you to remember. The rank contract says you have no rank. That is not an insult. That is a key. You can walk through doors that closed for Korean women in 1620. Use the key. The performance contract says he is on stage. You can be the one person in the room who is not auditioning. Some Korean men, the brave ones, will fall in love with you for that. The rest will go quiet. That is information. Take it. The face contract says your honesty is a knife. Learn when to put the knife down. Learn when to pick it back up. Some moments need the knife. Most do not. The patience contract says you are being measured. Measure back. 40 years is a long time to spend in a job interview. And the contract coming for you, the one your own country is drafting in real time, that one needs you to read it before you sign. You walked into Korea thinking you did not know the rules. You did not. But neither did half the Korean men around you. We were just better at pretending we did. The real question is not whether you should date a Korean man. The real question is what kind of belonging is worth being unable to read the rules. You answer that one for yourself. Tell me in the comments, have you ever felt the half-second freeze in his face and known something just shifted, but had no words for what it was? Stay real, because that's what I crave. This is Sibong Records. See you in the next video.